Alai bakana anana ura kana sana ile patai kana ele bana kana sana ura kana mai pekatara ile ula uli meuli kana maela kana ana uri kana maela mana ela uri Mela kana uri. Mela kana ona ora uri kana ea. Mela kana ala uri kana ea kana ala ea. Mela kana ola uli kela. Mela ala uli. Mela ala uri, mela kana ala ea kana ola uri, mela kana mai, mela kana maela ola uri, mela kana ea, maia kana ea pakana ea kepe pakapake ala kea, ke pakai kakana la kalauli mera kana mai kakai pasana kan la uri hana kala kana kanala pala ke la sana la kana uri mera kana uri ina ana mera kana mera kana era mera ana uri Paekessenaia Maurikanaia Beakai Paia Kasaia Kalauri Maira Kanui Kanasamarauri Mea Katarakai. It started off with I don't know how it started off. It's just started off with me meditating and no, it started off with I listened to a gong. It was earth or something, earth. Anyway, I went into this trance. And then the medicine woman was my ancestor, was my first ancestor, was the medicine woman. And she was chanting, and I was her, the medicine woman, first medicine woman. And I was doing the whole thing, the chant. And never do I open my eyes and chant this. And then she kept saying, o oma ule maena ala kanena maela kana ana uli kana maela kana ana uli kana ena kana maela kana uli kana maena pea ona ena kana ana uli kana ena kana. Since the beginning of time, every culture has developed means of passing on important information to its people. For the Hawaiians, there was no written language per se until the 1820s. Missionaries introduced the alphabet, which made it possible to present Hawaiian language in the written form. Until then, all information was passed orally through the use of song and chant and poems. Holy shit, before the 1820s, this was it. Various methods of recording information for the purpose of passing it on from one generation to the next. The oli was one such method. The elaborate chants were composed to record important information. Example, birth, death, triumphs, losses, good times, and bad. In most ancient cultures, composing of poetry and the confined to the privileged classes. What makes Hawaii unique is that poetry was composed by people of all walks of life, from the royal courts charts down to the common man. Within the overall category, the olis are the genealogies, the tales of powerful chiefs. Mela kana, mela. I can't stop it. Mela. Mela kana, ela kana, ela kana, mamuri kana, ela. Maela, maela kana, maela kana, maela kana, maela kana, within the overall categories. Within the overall categories of the Oli, there are 1. Genealogies, 2. Tales of powerful chiefs, 3. Stories of the beauty of the various land, and 4. Expressions of love to woo a potential lover. All poetry contains layers of hidden meaning, sometimes the understandable only to those who are sensitive to, only to those who are sensitized to different levels of subtleties. Hawaiian chants are no exception. A skilled chanter would often sometimes weave kona, mena kona, bea kai, I can play. Mena ana koni, hana mena kanai, katanai, mela, paranai. A skilled chanter would often sometimes weave koona, with double meaning, creating 3, 4, or 5 different levels possible translation. Oh my God. So while some may hear the ma'ela and think it means one thing, oh my God, I'm shaking. Other, more often familiar with the content, would understand a very different interpretation. It is often said that it is nearly impossible to fully understand the meaning of a chant because of this use of kaona. The intended recipient of the composition would be able to grasp its true meaning. This practice took on a deeper culture meaning after the arrival of the missionaries. The strict religious belief of the American missionaries considered things like the Oli. However, the use of kaona ma'ena, kanaona, Hawaiians were able to compose me'ela that would sound plain and innocent on the surface, that carried a much deeper meaning, and only fellow Hawaiian would be able to interpret, to understand. It was a mean of communicating our most heartfelt emotions and thoughts. Mahela kana hela kama ana uri. Mahela bai kana asamaya kana mauri kana ea pe. Ay kahaya kahaya kana. Pea kaya pea pula bai kama akabala kanaya kama pe sa bai kanaya pe. The Beaka Sapa Cycle. Kapaula had the foresight to preserve, to perpetuate those traditions through sometimes a great adversity, so that we would be able to understand the world through their eyes, although there aren't many masters. There aren't many masters chanters alive today. The tradition lives on through the resurgence of Ahela, Alu, intimate study of Hawaiian language being done by Hawaiian scholars today. What the fuck? The beauty of the word Oli is that it is a very individualized effort. Each chanter has his own different voice, quality, and technique. Even the way a chant is chanted can differ depending on each individual's past training and genealogy in chanting. It is said that the chanting is, oh my God, Hai ke pa hai ke me saya hai kanaya pe ai ke saya hai kanaya hai kanaya kan me kat sataya pe kalaya kana samaya oh kapaya ke. It here, it says, it is said that the chanting is a very lonely art. It is usually done as a solo performance by a chanter without any kokoue help. No kokoue my Peatanai Kame Sana Paurakanai Pass. I have to send this. What the fuck?